can I ask you something personal? Have you ever walked into a room and suddenly forgotten why you went there? Or maybe you're talking with a friend and a word you've used all your life just slips away. I want to be clear. I am not here to scare you, but I've spent over 30 years as a neurologist, and I've seen how these small lapses, when ignored, can grow into something bigger, sometimes the first whispers of dementia. Here's the good news. Science now shows that everyday choices, what you eat, how you move, even how you start your morning, can dramatically lower your risk of memory loss. Think of it as giving your brain a daily shield before it ever needs saving. And here's the best part. You don't need expensive treatments or miracle cures. You just need to build a few small habits. Starting tomorrow morning, even at breakfast, you can begin protecting your brain. So, let me ask you, have you ever noticed your memory slipping a little? Share your story in the comments below. Type 1 if yes, 0 if no. Your experience could inspire someone else today. And if this message touches you, please subscribe and ring the bell so we don't lose touch. Because your mornings matter, and so does your health. Part 1. Crisis Hidden in Daily Life. Why dementia creeps in without warning. Have you ever put your car keys down and then spent 20 minutes searching for them? Or maybe you've walked into the kitchen and completely forgotten what you came for? These moments feel small, harmless. We laugh them off as senior moments. But as a doctor with 3 decades in neurology, I've seen how these tiny cracks can sometimes be the earliest signs of something much deeper changes in the brain that, if ignored, may grow into dementia. Here's the crisis most people don't realize. Dementia doesn't arrive overnight. It creeps in slowly, through daily habits, silent inflammation, and years of stress on the brain. One day, you forget a name. A year later, you struggle with paying bills. Eventually, even daily independence, the ability to cook, drive, or recognize loved ones can slip away. The Alzheimer's Association estimates that nearly 7 million Americans are living with Alzheimer's disease right now. And according to the New York Times, that number could rise to almost 13 million by the year 2050 if we don't take preventive action. That's nearly double. Imagine every person in the city of Los Angeles struggling with memory loss. That's the scale we are talking about. But let me pause here. I am not saying every memory slip means dementia. What I am saying is that our everyday choices either speed up or slow down the decline. Skipping meals, sitting all day, eating processed sugar, or sleeping poorly, these habits chip away at the brain's resilience. Think of your brain as a savings account. Every healthy choice, eating colorful fruits, walking after dinner, sleeping on time, is like depositing money. Every bad habit is like withdrawing. Over time, you either build protection or you run out. So let me ask you, do you notice small lapses in your memory? Do you brush them off? Or do they worry you? Share honestly in the comments. Your voice matters here, because the truth is simple. Dementia creeps in when we least expect it. But with the right daily habits, you can push it back sometimes for years. Part 2. What science tells us about brain aging. Let's take a closer look at what actually happens inside the brain as we grow older. Most people think memory loss is just a normal part of aging, like gray hair or wrinkles. But that's not the full story. The brain is an organ, just like the heart or the lungs. And like any organ, it changes with time. After the age of 60, our brain begins to lose both volume and efficiency. Imaging studies from the National Institute on Aging show that the hippocampus, the area responsible for memory, shrinks steadily with age. At the same time, blood vessels that feed the brain stiffen, meaning less oxygen and nutrients reach the neurons. Think of neurons as tiny telephone wires. Over decades, those wires lose some of their insulation, which slows down the signal. That's why reaction times get slower, names take longer to recall, and complex tasks may feel overwhelming. But here's the good news. Aging doesn't mean the brain is doomed. In fact, research from Harvard Medical School has shown that the brain is remarkably adaptable. It can rewire itself, a process we call neuroplasticity. Even in your 70s or 80s, new connections can form if you challenge the brain and feed it the right nutrients. Of course, not all changes are harmless. Chronic stress raises cortisol, a hormone that in high levels can damage memory centers. Poor sleep interrupts the brain's nightly cleaning system, where toxic proteins like beta amyloid are cleared away. Without good sleep, those proteins build up, and this buildup has been directly linked to Alzheimer's disease. So the science is clear. Aging itself isn't the enemy. It's how we age. The combination of diet, stress, sleep, and lifestyle can either accelerate decline or protect your independence for decades. Here's the hopeful part. Studies published in the Journal of the American Medical Association found that older adults who maintained regular physical activity had brains that looked, on scans, up to 10 years younger than those who were sedentary. That's a full decade of brain youthfulness, earned simply by moving more. So let me ask you directly, when was the last time you gave your brain a workout? Not just with a crossword puzzle, but with a brisk walk, a balanced meal, or a good night's sleep. Share with me below. I'd love to hear your routine. Because the science is undeniable. The way you live today shapes the brain you will have tomorrow. Part 3. The power of polyphenols, nature's brain shield. Let me share a little secret with you. One of the most powerful protectors of your brain doesn't come from a pharmacy. It comes from your kitchen, hidden inside colorful fruits, vegetables, nuts, and even a piece of dark chocolate. These protectors are called polyphenols. They're natural antioxidants found in plants, and they work like tiny shields, protecting your brain from the silent damage of aging, stress, and inflammation. Here's how it works. Every single day, your body produces unstable molecules called free radicals. Imagine them like sparks flying inside a house. If those sparks aren't controlled, they cause damage, what we call oxidative stress. And oxidative stress, over years, can weaken brain cells, slow communication between neurons, and even accelerate diseases like Alzheimer's. Polyphenols are like firefighters. They neutralize those sparks before they burn through your brain's wiring. That means sharper memory, quicker focus, and stronger protection against decline. A landmark study in nutrients found that people who consumed more polyphenols had higher levels of two key brain chemicals, BDNF and CREB. These chemicals act like growth fertilizer for neurons, helping brain cells survive, repair, and form new connections. Without them, memory fades faster. With them, your brain can stay flexible and resilient even in your later years. But let's make this real. You don't need exotic powders or expensive pills to get polyphenols. They're in the blueberries you add to your oatmeal, the spinach in your salad, the olive oil you drizzle on bread, or the almonds you snack on in the afternoon. Even one small square of dark chocolate rich in cacao polyphenols can give your brain a gentle boost. Do you see how practical this is? A handful of strawberries isn't just dessert. It's brain medicine, nature's way of keeping you independent and sharp. Of course, supplements can play a role for busy people. In Spain, a clinical trial tested concentrated fruit and vegetable capsules and found real improvements in memory and attention. But here's my doctor's advice. Start with whole foods first. Supplements lack the fiber and natural balance that whole produce brings, and they can be costly. So let me ask you, when was the last time you filled your plate with color? Blue, red, green, purple. Each color hides a different type of polyphenol, each one adding another layer of protection to your brain. Remember this phrase: protect your brain before it needs saving. And one of the simplest, most delicious ways to do that is by eating the colors of the rainbow every single day. Part 4. Inside the Spanish Clinical Trial: Why it matters for you. Science isn't just about theories, it's about real experiments that show us what works and what doesn't. One of the most eye-opening studies on polyphenols and brain health came from Spain. In this clinical trial, researchers followed 92 adults. Each person took part in 2 test periods, each lasting 16 weeks. Half of the participants received daily capsules made from concentrated fruit, vegetable, and berry powders. The other half received a placebo, essentially a sugar pill with no active ingredients. The design was gold standard, randomized, double-blind, and placebo-controlled. That means neither the participants nor the scientists knew who was taking what until the end. What happened? Those who took the polyphenol-rich capsules performed significantly better on cognitive tests. They reacted faster on the Stroop test, which measures focus and attention. They also scored higher on verbal intelligence tasks. Even more striking, their blood showed higher levels of 2 brain-protecting proteins, BDNF and CREB. Think of these as fertilizers for your neurons, keeping your brain sharp and flexible. Now, here's where we must pause. The participants were relatively young, with an average age of 34. That raises an important question. Can these benefits apply to older adults, especially those over 60? While the study didn't directly answer that, we know from decades of neurology that the same brain chemicals BDNF and CREB play a critical role at every age. When they decline, memory suffers. When they rise, the brain adapts and stays resilient. So, even though the study was small, the mechanism is universal. And let me share a comparison that may surprise you. In the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition, another study looked at older adults following a green MED diet, rich in polyphenols. They too showed measurable brain health improvements. This overlap suggests the Spanish trial isn't an outlier. It's part of a growing body of evidence. But here's the takeaway that matters most for you. You don't need to swallow 6 capsules a day to see results. Whole foods, berries, leafy greens, olive oil deliver the same compounds, often with added fiber and balance. Supplements can help in special cases, but they're not a magic bullet. So, why does this matter for someone in their 60s or 70s? Because it proves something crucial. Your brain responds to what you give it. Even in later life, changing your diet can send powerful signals to your neurons. It's never too late. Let me ask you, if science shows your brain can still grow and adapt, what one small change are you willing to make at your next meal? Write it in the comments. You may inspire someone else to take their first step. Part 5. Everyday foods that act like medicine for your brain. Let's make this personal. You don't need a prescription pad to start protecting your memory. Many of the most powerful medicines for the brain are sitting right in your pantry or grocery store aisle. Here are 7 everyday foods and habits that act like medicine for your brain. 1. Blueberries, the memory berry. Blueberries are packed with anthocyanins, a type of polyphenol that boosts blood flow to the brain. Harvard researchers found that older adults who ate blueberries twice a week delayed memory decline by up to 2.5 years. Imagine buying 2.5 more years of independence just by adding berries to your oatmeal. 2. Olive oil, liquid gold for your neurons. Extra virgin olive oil isn't just for salads. A study from Temple University found it reduces brain inflammation and protects synapses, the connections between nerve cells. Drizzling olive oil instead of butter can literally safeguard your brain's wiring. 3. Almonds, the brain snack. Rich in vitamin E, Almonds fight oxidative stress. Just one handful a day, about 23 almonds, has been linked to slower age-related memory decline. They're portable, crunchy, and far more protective than chips. Quattro, dark chocolate, sweet defense. Cacao polyphenols improve circulation to brain regions linked with focus. In fact, a study published in Frontiers in Nutrition showed that older adults who consumed dark chocolate performed better on attention tasks. One small square, around 1 ounce, can act like a gentle brain pick-me-up. Woo. Leafy greens, nature's multivitamin. Spinach, kale, and collards are rich in lutein, folate, and fiber. In a Rush University study, people who ate 1 serving of leafy greens daily had brains that functioned as if they were 11 years younger than non-greens eaters. 11 years younger, imagine that gift. 6. Strawberries. Small fruit, big protection. Beyond their sweetness, strawberries provide physitin, a compound linked to reduced brain inflammation. The Journal of Alzheimer's Disease published findings showing that older adults with higher strawberry intake scored better on cognitive tests. 7. Morning ritual. A polyphenol-packed smoothie. Combine spinach, blueberries, half a banana, and a splash of almond milk. In 5 minutes, you've created a drink that delivers antioxidants, fiber, and energy. It's not just breakfast, it's your first act of brain protection for the day. Here's the key: consistency. 1 handful of almonds won't change your memory overnight, but daily choices add up, like steady deposits in your brain's savings account. Skip the soda, add the berries. Trade fried food for olive oil. Your neurons notice. So let me ask you, which of these 7 foods do you already eat? And which one will you add this week? Comment below, I'd love to hear your plan. Because your plate isn't just food, it's daily medicine. And with every colorful choice, you're protecting your brain before it needs saving. Part 6. Beyond food. Movement, sleep, stress control. Food is a powerful medicine, but protecting your brain is not only about what's on your plate. It's also about how you move, how you rest, and how you handle the stress that sneaks into daily life. Movement, your brain's best friend. The National Institute on Aging reports that regular physical activity increases blood flow to the brain and stimulates the release of growth factors like BDNF. That's the same fertilizer we talked about earlier, keeping neurons alive and active. Even brisk walking for 30 minutes 5 days a week has been shown to lower the risk of cognitive decline. Imagine that just a daily walk around your neighborhood could help preserve your memory. You don't need a gym membership. Gardening, dancing in your living room, or taking the stairs can all wake up your brain. One of my patients, David, age 72, simply started walking to the mailbox and back. Then he added 1 more street, then another. Today, he does 2 miles a day, and he swears his mind feels clearer. Sleep, the nighttime cleaning crew. When you sleep, your brain isn't just resting, it's cleaning the house. Deep sleep activates the glymphatic system, which flushes out toxins, including beta amyloid. Without enough sleep, those toxins build up, raising the risk of Alzheimer's. According to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, older adults need at least 7 hours of sleep every night. Think about it this way. Skipping sleep is like skipping oil changes in your car. The engine still runs, but the damage piles up until one day it breaks down. Stress, the silent brain killer. Chronic stress raises cortisol, which in high doses damages the hippocampus, the very part of your brain responsible for memory. Meditation, deep breathing, or simply taking 10 minutes for quiet reflection can lower cortisol. A Harvard Health report found that mindfulness practices not only reduce stress, but actually thicken areas of the brain linked to attention and decision-making. You don't need to sit cross-legged on a mountaintop. Try this. Inhale slowly through your nose for 4 counts, hold for 4, exhale for 6. Do this 3 times. It's free, it's quick, and it's medicine for your nervous system. The whole picture. When food, movement, sleep, and stress control work together, the effect is greater than any single habit. It's synergy. Eat the berries, take the walk, go to bed on time, and breathe deeply. Each action is a small deposit, but together they build a fortress around your brain. So let me ask you, which of these do you struggle with the most: exercise, sleep, or stress? Share in the comments. Chances are someone else here feels the same, and your honesty could help them. Remember this: your brain doesn't just need calories, it needs rhythm, rest, and resilience. Protect it with every step, every night's sleep, and every calm breath you take. Part 7. Common mistakes that steal brain power. Sometimes it's not what we do, it's what we overlook. Over my 30 years in neurology, I've seen that many people unknowingly sabotage their brain health through everyday mistakes. These errors may seem small, but over time, they quietly steal memory, focus, and independence. Mistake 1. Skipping breakfast. Breakfast isn't just about energy. It stabilizes blood sugar, which fuels your brain. Skipping it can cause mid-morning crashes, irritability, and slower thinking. Imagine starting your car on an empty tank, it won't get far. Mistake 2. Overusing sugar and processed foods. The Journal of Alzheimer's Disease has linked high sugar diets to increased risk of dementia. Too much processed sugar inflames blood vessels and feeds insulin resistance, both enemies of your neurons. That morning donut may feel harmless, but over years, it chips away at memory. Mistake 3. Ignoring sleep quality. Many older adults assume poor sleep is normal with age. It's not. Chronic sleep debt accelerates the buildup of beta-amyloid plaques, the sticky proteins tied to Alzheimer's. Treat sleep as medicine, not as a luxury. Mistake 4. Sedentary living. Hours of sitting weaken circulation. Less blood to the brain means less oxygen, less clarity. A study in JAMA Neurology found that sedentary adults had smaller hippocampal volume, the memory center of the brain. Even light movement, like stretching every hour, can help. Mistake 5. Over-reliance on sleep or anxiety pills. Medications like benzodiazepines or certain sleep aids may help short-term but can cloud thinking long-term. Always talk to your doctor before using these regularly. I've seen patients become dependent, trading calm nights for foggy mornings. Mistake 6. Social isolation. Loneliness is more dangerous than many realize. The New York Times reported that chronic loneliness increases dementia risk by nearly 50%. Conversation, laughter, and connection act like exercise for your neurons. Without them, the brain atrophies. Mistake 7. Brushing off early memory slips. Perhaps the most damaging mistake is denial. When people laugh off their forgetfulness instead of seeking help, they lose precious years where prevention could make a difference. Early detection allows us to strengthen the brain, not just treat decline. Think about it. Each of these mistakes is like leaving a window open during a storm. One crack might not matter, but over time, the rain soaks in, and the house suffers. Your brain is that house. So let me ask you, which of these mistakes have you caught yourself making, and which one are you ready to close today? Comment below, I'd love to hear your story. Remember this, prevention is not about perfection, it's about avoiding the silent thieves that steal your brain power, one habit at a time. Part 8. Practical morning and evening rituals for brain longevity. Big changes often start with small, daily rituals. Protecting your brain doesn't require complicated programs or expensive treatments. What matters is building simple habits into your mornings and evenings, the times of day when your brain is most open to reset and repair. Morning rituals. Start the day with protection. Your first meal of the day is more than breakfast, it's brain fuel. Begin with a polyphenol-packed smoothie, a handful of spinach, half a banana, a scoop of blueberries, and unsweetened almond milk. In 5 minutes, you're giving your brain antioxidants, fiber, and steady energy. Add 10 minutes of movement after breakfast. Walk around the block, stretch your arms, or climb a few stairs. According to the National Institute on Aging, light activity in the morning improves blood flow and boosts alertness for the rest of the day. Finally, take 2 minutes of mindful breathing before you head out. It calms stress hormones, sets focus, and primes your brain for decisions. Think of it as tuning your mental engine before driving. Evening rituals. Reset and repair. Your brain repairs itself most effectively at night. Create a wind-down routine 1 hour before bed. Dim the lights, turn off the television, and sip a calming tea like chamomile or green tea rich in polyphenols. This signals your body to lower cortisol and prepare for deep sleep. Avoid heavy late-night snacks or alcohol. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention reminds us that poor sleep quality increases dementia risk, and diet plays a role. Keep dinner light and rich in vegetables or fish to support brain recovery. Before sleep, practice gratitude journaling, writing down 3 things you're thankful for. Research from Harvard Health shows this lowers stress and promotes better sleep quality. The power of consistency. These rituals may sound simple, but together they form a powerful framework. Mornings. Fwil, move, breathe. Evenings. Calm, nourish, reset. One of my patients, Maria, age 68, began by adding just the smoothie and evening tea. Within 3 months, she told me she felt less forgetful, more energetic, and more optimistic about her health. Small rituals, big results. So let me ask you, what is one ritual morning or evening that you could start tonight or tomorrow? Share it in the comments. You may inspire someone else to take that same step. Remember, brain longevity is not built in clinics, it's built in kitchens, bedrooms, and sidewalks. Protect your brain before it needs saving, one ritual at a time. Part 9. Lessons from my 30 years treating memory loss. Over the past 30 years as a neurologist, I've walked alongside thousands of patients facing memory decline. Each one carried a unique story, but together, their journeys taught me lessons I believe every older adult deserves to hear. Lesson 1. Early attention matters. I remember Mrs. Thompson, a 65-year-old retired teacher. She came to me after noticing she forgot students' names from her past. Instead of brushing it off, she sought help early. We made small changes, adding blueberries to her breakfast, encouraging daily walks, and improving her sleep. 10 years later, she was still living independently, enjoying her grandchildren. Early action gave her extra years of quality life. Lesson 2. Denial steals time. Then there was Mr. Harris. He laughed off his forgetfulness, calling it senior moments. By the time his family brought him to me, he struggled with paying bills and even cooking safely. I often wonder, if he had faced the warning signs sooner, how different would his life have been? The lesson is clear. Denial steals precious time. Lesson 3. Small habits add up. One of my most inspiring patients, Maria, started making tiny changes at age 68. She committed to a morning smoothie, evening tea, and short walks. After 3 months, her daughter told me, "Mom feels sharper and happier." Her progress didn't come from miracle cures, it came from daily consistency. Lesson Cat. Connection heals. I've seen that the brain thrives on connection. Patients who stayed socially active, joining book clubs, volunteering, or simply chatting with neighbors fared better than those who isolated themselves. Loneliness shrinks not just the spirit, but the brain itself. Lesson sink. It's never too late. One of my oldest patients, Mr. Rodriguez, started lifestyle changes at 78. He thought it was too late. But after 6 months of better food, gentle yoga, and walking, his mood lifted and his memory tests improved. The science is undeniable. Your brain can adapt at any age. These lessons shaped my philosophy. Dementia prevention is not about perfection. It's about early attention, honesty, and small, steady habits. Each patient's story reinforced this truth. When you respect your brain, it rewards you with more years of clarity and independence. So let me ask you, do you see yourself in one of these stories? Which lesson speaks to you most: early attention, small habits, or connection? Share your thoughts in the comments. Because the greatest gift you can give yourself isn't just years of life, it's years of life you can fully remember and enjoy. Closing. Protect your brain before it needs saving. We've traveled together through science, stories, and daily choices. And if there's one message I hope you carry with you, it's this: your brain is not powerless. Dementia doesn't strike overnight. It creeps in slowly through skipped breakfasts, restless nights, unchecked stress, and years of neglect. But here's the hopeful truth. Just as small cracks can grow into decline, small habits can also build a fortress of protection. Eat the colors of the rainbow. Take that walk around the block. Protect your sleep like it's medicine. And don't forget to laugh, connect, and share life with others. These are not luxuries, they are brain-saving rituals. I've spent 30 years watching patients fight for their memories. Some waited too long, others acted early, and enjoyed extra years of clarity. And the difference between them often came down to simple, consistent habits. So let me ask you one last time, which step will you take first? Food, movement, sleep, or stress relief? Write it in the comments below. Your choice today may inspire someone else tomorrow. And if this video gave you even one new idea, please subscribe and ring the bell so we can keep walking this journey together. Share this with a friend over 60, you might just change their life. Remember this line, because it's the heart of everything we've shared. Protect your brain before it needs saving. Your mornings matter. Your evenings matter. And most of all, you matter.